Hello everyone. Today we'll discuss about low density parity check, which is LDPC code. So the entire presentation is organized in following manner. First, we'll see about the brief history of LDPC code. Then comes the introduction part where we'll discuss its definition and some of the important keywords related to it. Then we'll have a look on the performance of LDPC code. Then difference between regular and irregular code, and then we'll discuss about the representation of LDPC code. Then comes the decoding of LDPC, where we are going to discuss about two kinds of decoding algorithm. They are bit flipping algorithm and message passing algorithm. Then we'll see some of the applications of LDPC code, and lastly the conclusion. So let's have a quick look on the history of LDPC codes. So first in 1948, Shannon published his famous paper on the capacity of channels with noise. And in 1963, Robert Gallagher wrote his PhD dissertation on the low density parity check codes. He actually introduced LDPC codes for the first time, but because of the computers at that time were not very powerful, he could not verify that his codes could approach capacity. So this LDPC code vanished somewhere, and meanwhile some other efficient codes like turbo code came into the picture. And after that in 1982, Michael Tanner considered Gallagher's LDPC codes and his own structured codes. He introduced the notion of using bipartite graph called a Tanner graph. And again in 1995, LDPC code once again came into the discussion, led by David Mackay and many others. So it was shown that LDPC codes can essentially achieve Shannon capacity on AWGN and binary erasure channels. So let's see the definition of LDPC codes. What are they actually? So LDPC codes are a class of linear block code with a sparse parity check matrix H. That is why it is known as sparse, because it contains small number of ones per row or column, and because of that uh, the name suggested low density because it is containing the sparse parity check matrix. Then LDPC code is a code of block length n with a m cross n parity check matrix where each column contains a small fixed number of ones denoted by WC, which should be greater than or equal to 3, and each row contains small number of ones, which is WR, and the condition should be WR greater than or equal to WC. So low density condition implies that WC is much lesser than M and WR much lesser than N. So the number of ones in the parity check matrix H is equal to WC into N is equal to WC into M. Now consider the following parity check matrix. So we'll discuss this by taking one example. This is the parity check matrix, and this parity check matrix H is a 5 cross 10 matrix where 5 is the number of rows and 10 is the number of columns. And the dimension of the H matrix is given by n minus m cross n. And WR, which is equal to number of ones in each row, here the value of WR is 4, and WC, which is the number of ones in each column, and here the value of WC is 2. So the notification of writing the LDPC code will be 10 to 4, where 10 is the N, 2 is the WC, and 4 is the WR. So 1024 LDPC code. And code rate formula is given by 1 minus WC by WR. Then we will see about the performance of LDPC code. Just see the graph where a red line represents the uncoded curve, where we can observe that EB by N0, which is signal to noise ratio value, is large as compared to the blue line of coded curve. And this arrow represents the Shannon limit, which is the limiting value of EB by N0, below which there can be no error-free communication at any information rate. So it is important, and we can say that if any code is achieving the Shannon limit, close to the Shannon limit, then that code can be referred to as the efficient code. And LDPC performance can be very close to capacity, which is the Shannon limit. The closest performance to the theoretical limit ever was with an LDPC and within 0.0045 dB of capacity, and which has proven by experimental results. So using LDPC codes, we can achieve very high coding gains. So we'll see the difference between two kinds of LDPC code, that is regular and irregular LDPC code. First one, let's see about the regular LDPC code. As it can be observed from this parity check matrix, that only one is present both in rows and columns. So what's the definition of regular LDPC code? The number of ones in any row of parity check matrix will be equal to the number of ones in each column. So from this matrix we can see that there is only one number of ones present in every row as well as in every column. So this type of matrix is a regular LDPC code. Then we'll see the irregular LDPC code, which states that the number of ones will be different in rows and columns of parity check matrix. So after observing this parity check matrix, we can see that we have non-uniform numbers of ones both in rows and columns. Like all of the three columns have 3, 4 and 6 number of ones, and all of the columns have 3, 1, 2 and 2 number of ones. So the parity check matrix having the non-uniform number of ones both in rows and columns represents the irregular LDPC code. Now, how to represent the LDPC code? So basically there are two different possibilities to represent LDPC code, and they are matrix representation and second one is the graphical representation. Let's have a look on graphical representation. So there is one concept comes into the picture, which is bipartite graph. It is a simple unidirected graph G is equal to, it's the function of V and E, and is called a bipartite graph if there exists a partition of the vertex set so that both V1 and V2 are independent sets. So we will see this from a diagram. So this is the unidirected graph, which is the function of V and E, where V is the vertex set, these red symbols, and E is the edge set. So this unidirected graph will be referred to as a bipartite graph if there exists a partition of the vertex set so that both V1 and V2 are independent sets. So as we can see from the picture of bipartite graph that red symbols represent V1, which is partition from the green symbol, which is V2 with the edge set. So this kind of graph is known as bipartite graph. And for the representation of the LDPC code, Tanner graph is introduced. A Tanner graph or an LDPC code is a bipartite graph in which the nodes can be partitioned into two classes and no edge can connect from the same classes. So we have adopted Tanner graph for a representation of LDPC code. There are two classes of Tanner graph. We'll see it from the picture. So there are two classes of Tanner graph. One class of nodes is the variable nodes corresponding to n bits in the code word, and the second class of nodes is check nodes corresponding to m parity check equations. Okay, so H is the parity check matrix where uh, these two rows are the A and B, and there are four columns named as 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the matrix representation of LDPC code. So from the graph, we can say that it has two classes where 1, 2, 3, 4 symbols are the variable nodes and the square symbols, which is A and B, are the check nodes. Okay, so how to draw this Tanner graph? So first, see the matrix where first take the first row, which is A, and see at what places, at what columns a number of ones are present. So the number of ones are present in first and the second column. Then come back to the Tanner graph, take the check node A and join it from the variable nodes of column 1 and 2, because these are the columns of the parity check matrix which is containing the ones. So just join it with the 1 and 2 circles in the Tanner graph along edges, and then similarly do it for the uh, row B, where it contains the number of ones in 1, 3 and 4th column. So just join the B check node with 1, 3 and 4 variable nodes. So in this way we can draw the Tanner graph by seeing the parity check matrix. So parity check matrix is the matrix representation and Tanner graph corresponding to it is the graphical representation. Then some of the terminologies comes uh, after observing the Tanner graph, which is the cycles and girth. So one of the example is given for the parity check matrix, and this is the Tanner graph representation of parity check matrix. So here we can see that we have two color lines. First one is the orange one, and second one is the red one. So the first concept, which is of the cycle, it is referred to as a length L in a Tanner graph, which is a path of L edges which closes back on itself. So let's take the first check node, and then it just see the orange or its yellow line. Starting from the first check node, after completing the 4 cycles, it's again coming to the first check node. So it completes the total 4 cycle. Then see the red line part. Starting from the third check node, it completes the total 6 cycles and then again comes to the third check node. So here the cycle is equal to 6. So, and the girth of a Tanner graph is the minimum cycle length of the graph. So we have 4 and 6 cycles, and the girth will be the minimum cycle length of the graph. That means here in this case, the cycle will be 6, which is represented by the red line, and girth of the graph will be 4, which is the minimum value, which is represented by yellow line. So this is the concept about cycles and girth. And then comes the decoding part of LDPC code. So performance of error control code is strongly depends on decoding process. For decoding of LDPC code, iterative algorithms are used, and these iterative algorithms perform sequential pair of erroneous bits, and decoding will be done in an iterative manner between the variable or bit nodes and the check nodes. So decoding process is done with the help of Tanner graph itself. And the major idea of the decoding algorithm of LDPC code is given here. Decoding algorithm is first divided into hard decision decoding and soft decision decoding, where hard decision decoding consists of bit flipping algorithm. Decision decoding consists of message passing, or you can say belief propagation algorithm. And we'll discuss about this one by one. Let's discuss about bit flipping decoding algorithm first. So this kind of algorithm is applied on the binary symmetric channel. So this is the block diagram here, where it is encoder, X is the transmitted part, transmitted code word, and Y will be the received code word, and then it will be given to the bit flipping decoder. So the transmitted sequence is 0 0 0 0 0 0 6 zeros, and received sequence is 0 0 1 0 1 0. So this is the scenario which we have constructed. So let's have a quick look on these steps which has to be followed for bit flipping algorithm. First of all, we have to compute the syndrome, which is S is equal to V H transpose, where H is the parity check matrix and V is the received code word. And then compute all the number of unsatisfied parity checks involving each of the n bits of V. And by observing the S vector, syndrome vector, we can see the unsatisfied parity checks involved. Then third step is flip those bits of V which are involved in the largest number of unsatisfied parity checks. Then again go back to step 2, keep iterating until all checks are satisfied. Okay, so let's discuss this algorithm with an example. So let us consider the parity check matrix, and this is the Tanner graph representation of parity check matrix. And suppose the received code word is V syndrome vector. Received code word is V 001 000, and the syndrome after the syndrome calculation, the syndrome vector is 1001, which is the non-zero. That means the we have to check that means the parity check has failed at 1 and 4. So as it is non-zero vector, so it can be concluded that the code word is invalid, and the where it has failed, which is the 1 and 4. So this implies that there is an error among the symbols connected to the check nodes 1 and 4 of the Tanner graph. So these are the following observations which can be made from Tanner graph. Just see, first of all, just see we will see what are the variable nodes which are connected to the bit 1 and 4, where the parity check failed, that is the C0 and C3. So we'll see that S0 and S1 is connected to C0. That means there is it unsatisfy the parity check. Then S4 and S5 is connected to C3, which is the fourth bit. Here also it unsatisfy the parity check. Then S3, it's connected to C1 and C2. Here the parity check is satisfied. Then S2 is connected to both C0 and C3, which is the first and the fourth bit. Then here also uh, parity check is unsatisfied. And we'll pick up the largest bit having the largest unsatisfied parity check, that is the S2, which is the bit 3. It has the largest number of unsatisfied parity check. So in the next step, we will flip the value of S2, which is 1, as the 1 to 0, like this. We'll flip this 1 to 0, and then we'll get the received code word as 000000, which was the required code word, and hence the corrected vector is all 0 vector in this case. Then next example, next type of decoding algorithm is the message passing algorithm, which is given to the binary erasure channel. First, the transmitted code word is 110101, and some of the places are missing in the received code word, and we have to find the value at the missing place at the received code word. So this is the Tanner graph representation. So C4 bit and C1 bit is missing. So there involves the total two iterations, and the parity check equations will be written by observing this Tanner graph, which is C1. So its parity check equation is basically the XOR operation between the variable nodes corresponding to each of the check nodes. So C1 XOR C2 XOR C3 XOR C4 and so on are the parity check equations. So let's see this decoding algorithm one by one. This is the Tanner graph, and this is the received code word which is given to all of the variable nodes, and this received code word is passed to the check node in this way. This arrow represents the same. Then step 1 indicates that using the constraint 2, which we have previously seen, the parity check node constraint, we can calculate the value of C4. So the value of C4 can be calculated, and the next step we will actually update the values of variable nodes. So in the step 1 and step 2, that completes the first iteration, which was the calculation of variable node C4. Then comes the step 3. Here again the updated version of the received code word has been given to the variable node. It again goes to the check node, and using the constraint 1 we can calculate the value of C4, and again the values are updated, and this step 3 and step 4 actually completes the second iteration. So in this way message passing algorithm takes place. So for other channel models, the message passed between variable nodes and check nodes are real numbers, which express probabilities and likelihoods of belief. So in the message passing case, there were hard values used, 1 or 0. And if messages are in the form of belief or probabilities instead of hard values 1 or 0, then it is known as belief propagation algorithm. So after seeing the decoding part, we'll discuss some of the application areas of LDPC codes. LDPC is widely used in wireless, wired, and optical communications. LDPC codes offer performance benefits on the BEC, BSC, fading channels, channels with memory, coded modulation for bandwidth limited channels, MIMO systems, and AWGN channels. LDPC has already been adopted in satellite-based digital video broadcasting and long-haul optical communication standards. And LDPC has also been adopted in 5G scenario for EMBB use case. So, and lastly, we'll conclude this presentation. In the end, it could be concluded that LDPC codes are basically future of coding field, and this code is preferable because it is close to the channel limit, and also it has low decoding complexity because the Tanner graphs are involved in the decoding process, and it has already become the mainstream encoding technology as it is already implemented in 3G, 4G, and even in 5G scenario. So it can be said that LDPC has given and still giving some of the promising results, and further research in this field is still going on. So thank you so much.